Minute. Hello everyone and welcome to today's live Q&A session where I'm going to sort this man out in September. But yeah, I was literally what I was going to say to you, Brad, was I was literally on another show there, literally seconds just before.
I saw you had something going on, right?
But it was obviously pre-recorded, just that premiere bullshit. But I'm going to assume we're going to have people coming from that directly over to here. Hence why we're 3 minutes late, people. That is the explanation. But if you are watching for the first time, check out ODYS, who are an age domain and done for you. I can always forget, it's a tongue tie. Done for you affiliate company who can sort you out with amazing domain names and done for you websites.
Once Mike and I get this first domain, because we're putting a lot into this first one. Once we have that, we're gonna just fuck it. Like, everyone better get into ODYS before we get a hold of it, because I'm just gonna build a portfolio and just that's cash flow, you know.
It's fucking easy money, man. There's a few guys I've had in the podcast that have literally done fuck all else other than good on page and content and make at what I would consider to be reasonably decent money. You know, just for that part of the strategy alone, taking advantage of the age domain. So
yeah, I mean, if you look at it from an investment standpoint, it's just it's cash flow. It's free money at that point. If all you've got to do is buy it, and ODYS, I know they're building out content and shit for us. So if you have them build the initial content out, and then you do some type of recurring, where you're just dripping out content and nothing else, you're going to see a return on it. We've got, I mean, when you do it right, you don't have to worry about fucking updates and all that shit. So
exactly. But we have a question here, and I'm not sure how you can respond to this. How is your MMA training going? I don't think it's going well, just by looking at it under beat, but yeah.
MMA is not going because I'm just focused on boxing and ripping Craig's head off. So that's about, that's the MMA I might be a little rusty at, but the boxing I'm getting sharp. So tweaking a few things. I don't have to do a ton to beat someone like Craig, but I want to be prepared in case he actually does bring it. So
listen, even though I've just admitted to Brad off air that the part where I told him that I had 7 professional fights and won 7 of them was just a load of fucking bullshit. But I have done fucking street fighting and stuff quite a lot, and I'm training like a motherfucker. So I'm not coming here to be anyone's fucking whipping boy. Let's just put it that way.
That's not what he's planning.
Yeah, I might get beat, but I will go down trying to wipe that smirk off of fucking Brad's face. For all Brad haters,
there are a lot out there. So,
So put your money in me. Trust me, I've got the fucking drive and all that. I'm not sure. I think he's underestimating me. But yeah, it should be fun.
Dude, did you see the Tyson documentary that's been out? The first episode came out last week. I think they're gonna have the second one tonight. About like his early life and shit like that, and how he's it stopped at Buster Douglas, like either right before or right after he lost that fight. But it's going through all that shit. It's interesting. Yeah,
I love Tyson. I think he can
same.
Really well. He was a psychopath back in the day, but I think watching him and listening to him now is something I could do all day, because he's got amazing stories, man.
He does. It's crazy.
Yeah, he is crazy. But Carol Morley, hello. Adam Poland, hello. Simon Hogbin, Ricky SEO, Akshit Rana. Hopefully I got that right.
Akshit, yeah, that's probably
it. And best guesstimates, please. I've not seen any other question here. Unless
post up questions. Usually Mike brings, his Reddit not safe for work questions, but he decided to drive. What did I say? He's driven 14 hours. He's got 17 hours. He's got 4.5 left, something like that, some shit. But yeah, he waited to the last minute, couldn't get a plane out of bumfuck Idaho. and ended up driving to his brother's funeral / wedding. And it's just a wedding. But yeah, so he that's where he is today. So post up any questions you got. Otherwise, we're going to have to come up with a subject that Craig and I can just bullshit about,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been looking at this being essentially I guess it really is the first day of the month. Yeah, looking at numbers last month. How'd your numbers look last month as far as cash flow and money wise, Craig? I know you spend a majority of your time on this stuff that doesn't, given the time you put in, doesn't really pay a ton. But I mean, all your other shit is essentially going in the background, right?
Yeah. Listen, this stuff does not pay that well at all.
Yeah, that's why I say it's got to be a labor of love. One, it's a labor of love. Two, it does keep me sharp, at least. It keeps me motivated and going.
I think, but if anyone's got any illusions of being in YouTube, and because I've had people in the industry ask me, like, how much money do you make off of YouTube? And I'm like, really not a lot. I mean, it really isn't. The AdSense, goes up, down, whatever, depending on how many videos you roll out. But it's certainly not enough to even earn, you'd earn more money flipping burgers than Burger King from that point of view. Brand awareness and all that kind of stuff, of course, that all helps in building a personal brand is the reason I've done it. And I just want that 100K subscribers to show that.
Where are you at right now? Are you still in the 70s?
70s, 70 odds, yeah. 72 or some shit. Good. But it's, I think, it'll be a tall order to get to 100K.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I think it shows that anyone can do it, and that's what I wanted to do. Is, if you.
I mean, look how small of a niche SEO is. That's a niche within a niche within a niche. It's marketing, it's online marketing, it's SEO. It's crazy, and to get 100,000 followers in a niche within a niche is just insane.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good.
And in the deep boxes as well. So
nice.
If you want to come and box, Brad reckons he could take me, you, and everyone else out in the one fucking night.
Dude, the one guy that hangs out in our circle is Mario, and he trains dudes that are actually in Bellator. He's in Chicago, and I don't fuck with that dude. So I'm not going to talk shit to Interdeep. I know I can beat you relatively easily, but I'm just fucking. But yeah, people like Mario and people I don't know. I try not to talk too much shit to them. So you never know.
Anyway, on to some questions. Dale Caldwell's asking, what do you think of crypto? Personally, I dodge it because I just think it's like gambling, and I'm not.
It is.
I just don't have time to fuck around and understand it all. Do you get involved in it at all?
No, Mike does to an extent. He's diving even deeper now. If you're going to do it, you got to be like, if you're getting into just investing equities like stocks and stuff, you've got to really understand it, understand the market, and have fucking brass balls, because it's going to go up and down more than Google. Especially crypto, and equities is bad enough. Just looking at indices like full, like the RUT or SPX, those go up and down enough. But the crypto market is just insane. It might be a good time to buy right now. It might not be. It just what Bitcoin halved recently, right? They were up to 60 and now they're down to 30, 35-ish. Now might be a good time, and it might go back up to 60. I think it's going to go sideways for a while, or it might just keep fucking going down to like wherever it was before, 3,500, 5K. So if it hits 5K, I think a lot of people are going to buy, and it's going to go back up. But yeah, balls and money is what you need for crypto. So,
and I've none of that stuff.
Neither. Your wife keeps all of that, right? That's how it
is. Alejandro, hopefully I've said that right. Does content by itself help rank? I started making my service pages, 700 plus words of content, and my pages started ranking top 5 for keywords without any link building besides citations. You ever seen something
work? Yeah, that'll work. The good part about adding content is if you're adding content in the right way, you're using cognitive or whatever tool you like to find the the LSIs. But if you're adding that, you're going to naturally rank for more keywords, which brings in more traffic, which brings the entire page up. So yeah, you've got supporting phrases in there when you add more content. So yeah, I can believe that 100%. Most local, aside from the huge cities and the ultra competitive niches, you can rank with just content. And like he said, citations will help as well, once they get indexed. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
A city is not competitive. That may also be the case. But yeah, whatever works for your city and everything else, that's all you need to do. Obviously, some cities are harder than others, and you have to do a little bit more than that. But yeah,
I had a plumbing client that a student needed help with, and I said, just what cities are they targeting? And they had like 3 core cities that they had GMBs for. I was like, all right, we're going to take these. We're going to go, a radius around each one of those, and we're going to build out pages for each individual. So it's like the mini net method that we teach, except it was on a money site, and we just blew it out. It was essentially used Page Optimizer Pro, rules for the on page. Didn't even use cognitive on it, and they were like number 1, 2, and 3. Like they were just popping up everywhere. So once you do that, tie it all together, you're going to come up.
In fact, before I go on to the next question, I'm going to share my screen in just a second. I'm going to show you guys something. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Brad. Give me a second, just to fucking log in. Right, that's all good. Right, so I'm going to share screen, show you something that you may not have seen for you guys with content. So
I was going to ask you about this,
Yeah. So Suffer have got this content planner in beta mode out now, which basically you can put in any keywords, and basically it will give you it will just do the work for you at the push of a button. Sweet. So it just basically scrapes, as it always has, the top 10 search results. It just scrapes their subheaders and all that kind of stuff, and it's now got AI built in to write the content, so you can literally churn out PBN content and stuff here, no problem at all, at the push of a button on Suffer, which I think everyone should know about, because I've been playing around with conversion.ai and loads of other ones over the past year or so, and with kind of mixed results and stuff. But what I like about Suffer is these guys, are already scraping stuff. They know what they're doing and all that kind of stuff, and mixing that in with a bit of AI is just, I think, from what I've just been playing around with it. I only found out about it today, but from what I can see, it looks fucking decent, man.
How much is that a month? Just curious.
It's about 200 a month, something like that.
That's not bad. Yeah, for free content.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, guys, check out Suffer. It's in beta mode. It's not 100% perfect yet. It will get better, but literally, you just put in a search term, that will scrape the top 10 search results for that, grab all the subheadings, basically structure your content, and then let AI fill in the rest, which, that for me has been fucking mind-blowing. I like tools and stuff, but you're just like, man, this is what I've been looking for all these years, so check it out. But back to the question, or the comments. This is a comment from Ricky SEO. He's had his first paper lead site on page 2 now. With a bit more work, it should get to page 1. He's learned everything off of this channel and these weekly streams. That's why I do these things. People think it's about the money, but
that's sweet.
Being able to pass knowledge and value on to you guys out there is pretty much what we do it for. It's always great to hear that. So keep going, Ricky, and hopefully get to page 1, because that's really
what have you done so far, Ricky, to get to page 2. Just post it, and we'll circle back around and see if there's anything else we can help to push it.
Yeah, it sure does. And actually, Paul Clark has just said, you guys seen the content brief writer and Suffer? Yes, Paul, I was talking to Mihal, who part of the Suffer team, and made me do a little video on it today to tell everyone. So yeah, it's quite a sweet tool. Looks good. But going back to Inderdeep, guys, could you recommend automation platforms for pay-per-click or social ads, which can reduce a lot of manual work? Anything you know that can automate that stuff, Brad?
Not for PPC. I mean, you're going to have to get in and either write the ads yourself or have someone write them. And I usually like my ads better if me writing them rather than, handing it off to someone working for me. So it just depends on what you need to automate. I would think specifically on what you're repetitively doing. And then there's got to be a solution out there. Just get specific in your search and shit'll pop up.
I think what you're saying, Brad, in terms of writing your own ads, I think that's always the best option. But you can use the likes of SEMrush where you can build an ad.
Look at the competition for sure.
Yeah, and steal what the competition's doing and just
that's where I always start. What's everyone else doing? Yeah, and then I can spin it.
But you can do that with your own eyes as well. But SEMrush actually has that feature built in where you can basically just steal it, edit it, and then ping or put it onto your campaign. So easy as that. But
in all honesty, I don't do a ton of PPC, here and there. But mine is primarily just assets that are, pulling in cash flow.
Yeah, the best way to do it. Question for you, Brad, from Mark Flanagan. When buying expired domains in bulk for the Mini-Mate, how much care was taken for the backlink profiles, or did you just buy in bulk and power up?
Yeah, I look at them to make sure, one, they're clean, so they don't have a shit ton of spam, and I'm looking for relevance in the backlink portfolio. I like to get as close to 10 or more referring domains, but referring domains, not just links, 10 or more referring domains going to the site. And if they're all niche related or citations, then I'll take it. And then as I post, I can power up each individual post as it's going out. I set up an entity for each one, which is all the social, and I send each post that's going out through that social. So that's building a base for each one. I power up all the social networks because it's easier, because then that powers up each post that comes out. And then if I specifically want to send edits to one of those post or internal pages, then I'll do that, especially if one, I'm monetizing the site and I want that specific page to rank more. And two, if I'm linking from the Mininet to my money site, then I'll power that specific page up just because it'll boost it. So, but yeah, I don't just buy them without looking at them at all. I want to look for relevance and look for links that I can't build on my own. Like if I'm in substance abuse, I'm looking for links from rehabs.com or any other directory that is going to be a pain in the ass for me to get, and then like if you're going through ODYS, then all of those are solid. So
they do the checking of the domains for you anyway, so you can just go through their dashboard and see the top referring domains and all that stuff. Carol Morley, how would you estimate the value of SEO work required to compete against a particular website?
Two different ways. One, for local, I kind of gauge it based on, what I'm going to have to put into it. So if it's, if some guy comes at me wanting to rank for plumber in Chicago, that's going to be pretty competitive because Chicago is huge and competitive, and the plumbing niche is huge and competitive. Same thing with water damage or any other big city. So at that point, I'm going to have to charge quite a bit more. It's going to be 2, 3. I think in rehab, if I get a local client, it's usually 4 to 5K to push their map. If it's a smaller city, smaller niche, I could charge as little as 500 if I wanted to, because I know I'm just going to do the initial on-page stuff. I'm going to get citations built, and then I might need to make some tweaks in month 2, 3, 4. But that shit's going to go up regardless, of how much work I put into it. Of course, I don't tell the client that. So that's for local. Now for national, I want it to be as black and white as possible. So we pitch them on what what we talk about quite a bit is content plus linking. So how many pieces of content do you want a month? Or if you want to break it down to words, how many words do you want a month? And that doesn't tie you into, 10 pieces of content every month that's 500 words, and then it looks goofy as shit. So I like to sell words. So 25,000 words, which would be however many are, if you want to break it into 500 word articles, that'll, gauge how much you're doing. But I break it down to words because that's what my content writers charge me based on. So number of words per month, and then number of, we call them outreach hours. But it's basically links, because we want to give them number of outreach hours, because we don't want to tie ourselves into X amount of links per post per month. Because if you're putting out 20 posts a month and each one of those is getting the exact same amount of links, then it's going to look, suspicious. Yeah. So we don't want to tie ourselves into a specific number of posts, and we don't want to tie ourselves into a specific number of links per post. So we do words of content, and we do outreach hours, and we have a set price for that. And it's the same essentially for everyone. So then it comes down to how much or little do you want to spend? Is your budget, $2,000? We can do, we have thresholds. For national, we don't like to go under $5,000, but so say, is your budget $5,000? You can get this much content and this many outreach hours per month. Is your budget $30,000? You can get this much. So then you can kind of expand or contract that in either way as much as you want. So that's how we price it for either local or national. So when we deviate from that, we fuck ourselves typically. We like to stick to those rules.
That makes sense. Keep it all looking natural and stuff as well. So yeah. We have a question from Sanjay. I'm a school student doing affiliate without a website. I'm doing that for the last month, but I've got no sales. Kindly give me any tips for traffic without a website.
Traffic. Where's the traffic going to? Yeah. If you're doing, I guess if you consider pay-per lead marketing affiliate, then it's just GMBs. It's map listings. But at that point, you might as well have a site tied to them, in my opinion, because it helps push them, and you can build out, the site way more and pull in traffic from all the internal pages as opposed to just the GMB. You can try 2.0s. I haven't done it in a while. You can go, you could sometimes drop a Weebly into that. You could go the business sites, Google sites, stuff like that. You're just going to have to get creative and fuck around with what properties are going to rank best. It used to be Weebly. I don't know if it is anymore. But yeah, you got to have something out there, unless you're just running paid ads directly to the affiliate offer. So
I would be flabbergasted if a school student was doing that. So I think, you've got to do what Brad said there.
If you're on a budget, go like a Weebly type site, a Web 2.0. Or if you can build a community in Facebook, but then you're still going to need to send it somewhere. You'd still need like a ClickFunnels account to send it, unless you're just building a community and sending them direct to the affiliate. So, so you're going to need to build some kind of asset, whether that's on someone else's property like Facebook, Weebly, any other 2.0, or you're going to need your own website, in my opinion.
I think websites are relatively low cost and something you can probably muster up yourself, even if it's not the best looking website. So I'd be looking to go down that route, to be honest. But hopefully that helps you. But yeah, keep trying, man. Good to see young people trying to do things. But yeah, you've got to try and give yourself a bit of time and build up some assets. But Paul Whitman's asking, how do you find the best PBN domains to purchase? So are you going to auctions? Do you just go for age domains, ODYS, or do you go to some drop catchers? What's your kind of buying strategy?
We've got a guy that does some drop catching for us. If I really want to just not think about it and not look at all, I'm ordering from ODYS, and those are the longer term assets that I'm getting. And then the supporting sites that I don't want to spend that much on, I'm going to use the Ahrefs method, which we showed on the show, 2-3 months ago. And I'm going to use that to get at cost domains, essentially expired domains that are $10, and then that's going to support the ODYS domain that I got. So Mike and I, that's actually what we're doing, is building out a network now. So then I'll put the ODYS on a solid host that's pretty bulletproof. And then for the network, I'm just going to use something like microhost. So it just depends on what I'm doing with the PBN, but most of the time I'm using expired domains.
Adam Poland is saying conversion AI ties into Suffer really well for any new conversion AI guys, but I think Suffer may end up taking them right out the game. Jenny Abubaya saying Phrase is adding something similar as well. Suffer starts from $59 a month. Content providers are going to be crying everywhere. I might even say I'm on content agency and just fucking AI the shit out of it.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
Why not, eh? So that's Gary Wilson, actually. He started his own content agency. I'm just curious if he's thinking ahead of the game. Like, man, this could get easier. I don't think he is, though. He's still using the VAs and all that
but
stuff.
You've got, I mean, there's always going to be a difference between AI generated content, which is good enough, for your Pbns and maybe supporting content on your money sites. There's a difference between that and like a legit content writer where, you're really providing a ton of value and doing it as a long-term play. So I think there's still going to be room for that type of content if that's what he's doing, and then just use the AI stuff for supporting content.
Also, Ricky SEO said he forgot to mention the free MiniNet training has helped him massively. So check out, what is
MiniNetTraining.com.
Check it out, guys.
MiniNetTraining.com.
That is Brad and Mike's MiniNet training course, which Ricky is talking about. There is value to be had there, and it is free. So
yeah, it's free. So
grab it. Anything these guys are as tight as fuck. So anything that's offered for free, grab it, because it might not come around often. I'm only kidding on, they're not that tight actually. But anything to throw an insult Brad's way is always a good thing. What are your websites? I'm interested in following you guys and learning more. So you can find me at craigcampbellseo.com. You can find these guys at nfgseo.com/7.
Correct. Yeah, that'll get you access to all of our paid content for a week, and then it of course if you want to stay and play, you got to pay. Is that all rhyme? Yeah. If you want to stay and play, you got to pay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there's that, and then also there's we've got the freebies like mininettraining.com, and then nfgsecret.com. We walk everyone through some stuff. So any of those three you can check out and get started.
Yeah, that's a good head start. And then from there, if you want to stalk the guys, then I'm sure you'll be able to find them relatively easy from there on in. So feel free to stalk them. Simon Hogbin, niche local directory. Do they still get ranked and work for paper leads?
I don't know if they get ranked easily. I would honestly look at your market, look at the keyword that you want to rank. So if you're going for, SEO Glasgow, check and see if there's directories ranking, and then get yours in there. And then if you need to push up your individual listing, push that. But then at that point, it's, I'd rather push my site, and it's, is the juice worth the squeeze? If they rank easily, then go for it. But it all depends on the individual market and location and all that stuff.
Also, Carol Morley, I do not think all your messages are coming through. They're coming through very bitty. I've just got such as Bed Kingdom. I'm not sure I can see anything else. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But he likes the outreach models. Thank you. So that's come through. Question for you, Brad, from Dan Randall. Can you recommend a program or service that parses text from the web archive and checks them for uniqueness?
Just grab a snippet of it and throw it into a Google search and see if it comes up. And then you can tell if they're still using it. That's what I've always done. It's quick, free.
Yeah, there is no other way. I know Chris Palmer though has a tool coming out which is basically taking content from the Wayback Machine. You can just search for it based on keyword, but I still think you'd still have to do those checks in case someone else has done that before you. Or
that's going to be an issue eventually for sure.
Yeah, there are billions of pages that you can steal, but once everyone piles in, those billions.
What's that? And is he mashing up content or is he just taking it straight copy paste?
I think his tool initially is being designed just to take it, because the problem you've got is there's only one other company that are doing that, and that's content.fish. And they had a custom built API for the Wayback Machine because they don't just give one out. And Chris's people have built something similar to that. But there's not a lot of other people doing it. But obviously, how many SEOs over the years have been using the Wayback Machine for free content?
I used to do it like just copy and paste it.
But I think you're going to have to eventually mash it up or throw it into an AI machine and see what it spits back out or whatever. I don't know, but everyone's going to have their own methods. But I think what you say, it goes back to that basic thing of putting a snippet into Google and seeing if it pops up anywhere. The best bet. You've just got to do that last check because everyone's done everything for many years. This shit's not new. I know I've been stealing from the Wayback Machine for many years anyway. So
I would buy the site and then just because they're niche relevant, throw it into the site, just reuse it, rebuild the site quickly on a shitty WordPress theme and be done.
Yeah, that's it. Ricky SEO, and by the way, guys, give us a like on this channel as well. There's only one I can see.
Just now. And subscribe.
And subscribe, yeah. But Ricky outsourced the content to someone who uses Surfer, which was great. I got 100 citations and 20 natural links, forum and blog comments. So that is what he done to get his pay-per-view website to page 2. Is there anything else you think he can be doing there?
I would like to see, especially if it's local, I would like to see him build out an entity. Just find an IFTTT gig on Legit. I think it's Legit now, right? Because IFTTT isn't allowed on Fiverr anymore. So I would go ahead and grab that and then just throw the entity together really quickly in Schema. Throw that up, and then if you need to throw edits at any of the properties that you've already built, I would do so. That, and if you want to do some, I don't do a ton of Google stacking anymore unless it pertains to my entity. So grab the Google account that's attached to that site and grab all your citations just as a reference point, throw them in there, and then you can of course make that public and link to it if you want. Power everything up, so it's a quick hub that you can do, but I don't get balls deep into the Google stacking just because it takes a while.
Also, he's thinking about 2 or 3 guest posts to see if that pushes him up. Don't think that's going to do you any harm. Just try and get it.
Won't hurt.
Something relevant.
If there's a GMB tied to it, I would definitely run a press release gig with your NAP in there, and then just link to the landing page, the CID, and maybe the Google share link, and that should push you. But if it hasn't been that long, then I would wait to see where you end up. So
here's a question for you, Brad, on the CID URL. Have you noticed that the CID URL is no longer a 301 redirect, it's a 302?
They go back and forth. So I don't worry about it because it still pushes for me. So yeah, it flip-flops. Sometimes, I mean, it used to only be a 301, then it switched to a 302, then it switched back, and now apparently it's back to a 302, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's still going to get, the traffic on it is essentially what I think helps it. And they see the linking as some form of traffic. So that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Bill. So at that point, it doesn't really matter that much.
I just wasn't sure if Google were trying to fuck around with something or.
They've been fucking around with that for close to a decade or more now. So it's there, and it ties the entity together, and that's another link that you can put into the same as for your schema too. So tie everything together as much as you can.
Yep, follow that. Elton Musa. When you sell a website, do you also sell the Pbns you built for that site? If not, do you keep the links in place or remove them? Very good question, and something that people do need to be careful of. If you're buying a website that is propped up with Pbns, someone is likely to remove them. They're not likely to give you all of the Pbns. They're assets, and that's it.
A lot of times I see that they sell it as a network and they essentially all go together. So in that case, you would be, it should just, but I mean, if you're done with that niche, then I would just sell the entire network and bump up the sale price as well.
I think a lot of snakes out there though. I'm sure there's way more legit people than there's not, but I've seen a lot of people paying big money for websites and then all the Pbns have been pulled, and it's basically tanked.
Yeah, it sucks.
And that SEO person that sold the website went straight back into the niche and done their thing again. So
yeah,
be very fucking careful. But great question. I like your way of thinking, and it's a question that has to be asked. And if you're not getting them all, then what the fuck are you buying? Really, you want to try and buy something that's going to have secure rankings, not leaving someone with the ability to pull the rug from under your feet. So be very, very careful when buying stuff, because that's the nature of this game. But Carol Morley likes your outreach hours model. What the hell is this?
Can't read that much.
Yeah, I think that's what we call
the spammy.
Spam. Yeah,
I've never spammed before. It's crazy.
It's can you provide the link to the Ahrefs drop method, please?
Yeah, I don't know what video it is on this channel, but it's in the minionettraining.com. So check that out.
Go to minionettraining.com, just in case you are from the UK, you don't understand Brad's accent, but you're still more than likely to understand his accent than mine. But yeah, go there and get it, because I have no idea when it was spoken about, because we do one of these a week, and we talk for an hour each week. So
it was one that Mike was not on. I remember that. So if you want to go back through them, or just go to Mininet Training.
Mininet Training is probably the easiest route.
That would be easier for me, yeah.
But Rohit, I am well, mate, and I hope you are too. People charge $9.97 for that kind of value. So yeah, get on to minionettraining.com. Michael Likens, what kind of tools do you prefer for citations, Bright Local or alternatives? I use SEObuilder.com, which is a guy local to me, who's a nice service and he's well known in the industry, Robert Kirk. But I've heard good things about Bright Local and everything else.
Yeah, Bright Local's okay. Yext is the ultimate, in my opinion, just to get that Yext network, because that makes it easier. But that requires more budget. If you're on a budget, then go, Fiverr or what's the other one? Citation Builder Pro or whatever. But I usually don't use tools. I use services to do it. So I don't have to fuck around with it.
I'm just taking a wee note of something, because the next guy has come up with quite a good suggestion. Have you tried Copy Leaks? It's like Copyscape, but it can detect straight up Quillbot text from the primary source. It's AI-based plagiarism tool. Never heard of it, but I'm going to take a look. Sanjay, I'm just doing Quora for traffic. I don't have a website. Any free ads can help me. Is there such a thing as free ads?
I mean, it would require just a bunch of, posting on Quora and other, forum style, Q&A style platforms. So it's just, you're gonna have to double down and do more. So
yeah, need to do more. Sharif, does adding a redirect 301 affect SEO? Can do if you don't do it properly. It depends on what context do you mean.
There's a few different scenarios there. There's grabbing an expired domain or just a domain with links going to it and redirecting it to that. That can affect your SEO, either negative or positively, depending on the domain. Theoretically, though, you want it to push it up. And then otherwise, putting a 301 in between your, so if you've got a PBN network that you want to be able to, transfer it to a new site easily, you can put it through a 301. You are going to lose some juice that way, but ultimately it should pass, a large portion of it. So I would say, yes, it will affect SEO, but you just use that as a tool when you need to. Like you were talking about people pulling the links. That's an easy way to pull all of your links at one time, is send everything through a redirect that then goes to your end target. And then if you ever sell the end target property, all you've got to do is switch that redirect, and you don't have to log in and to all your PBNs and switch it out in the specific post.
Yeah.
So 301s can help though, extremely. So
yeah, they can do. What is IFTTT, Brad?
It's if this then that. So it's a platform that will automate your posting. So you can set up IFTTT. It's set up based on triggers. So say if Craig wants to send every YouTube video that he puts out on his channel to his network of social sites like Twitter, WordPress, Weebly, insert, Web 2.0 platform here, then he would set up a trigger in IFTTT that says, if there's a new video on the channel, then distribute it here. And then you can set up tiered IFTTT networks. You can I set them up with new blog posts with my network. So then I set my IFTTT up so it goes from, if there's a new blog post, then it's going to go to Twitter. It's going to post it there. If there's a new tweet, then it goes out to the rest of the network. So then it's the rest of the network is essentially curated, and I don't have like a full blog post on every single, like WordPress, Weebly, it's going to be complete dupe content, and I don't want that. So I send it from the blog to Twitter out to the rest of the network, and that's easy to set up on IFTTT.
Yeah, it's a good thing if you want to. I've had them set up by guys on Legit and stuff like that, just to distribute shit all over the place. So it can come in handy, and massively automates things, which is what we all want. So hopefully that helps you. Sharif, does adding Schema help with SEO? Yes.
I don't think it hurts, but it's the thing with Schema, with people asking if it helps. Is it a magic, like a silver bullet for SEO? No, not really. Will it help establish the entity? Yes. Should you do it? More than likely. It's how I look at Schema.
Obviously, trying to get the FAQs or whatever it's going to be taking up more of the landscape. Why would you not do it? Really, I've been lazy and I'm probably late to the party with Schema, and it's but the question I would always say, is it worth the effort? And it probably is. But when I've been building out my blog and stuff, Schema really wasn't that big a thing at the time, and going back to do that over hundreds of posts is just a fucking pain in the ass. So
I'm not doing that.
But definitely something that you probably want to consider going forward.
I do use it for local because I can tie all the if you're going to run a citation gig or an entity gig, then you can tie everything together, and same as you can throw in some, relative links, like local links to it in Schema, and get some keywords in that way. So it does have its purpose, especially in local, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Michael Likens is saying the biggest upside is just getting more SERP real estate. Grab as much of it as you can.
Yeah. The FAQ schema is pretty sweet.
But Michael also had a good suggestion for Sanjay, the young fella doing his affiliate. Groove Pages, you can get free websites with them.
There you go.
Try that out. Anything free is good. So have a look at that, mate. Christina, do you use Surfer SEO tool? If yes, which sections? So we just mentioned earlier on in the show about their new content planner, which is in beta mode, which can basically write content for you. But overall, everyone's going to use different sections of it, whether that's the content editor, auditor, SERP analyzer, keyword research. It really comes down to your own personal preference. People, but most SEOs use different tools for different things. I know Brad and Mike are big fans of COG, which I don't.
And we only use one section of that. We only use the keyword tool. So
yeah, but I've always just get into a habit of, over the years, I've always had Ahrefs, because when people talk about links, it's always in DR, and I just like using Ahrefs for that. But then I'm a massive user of SEMrush as well for other features as well. So it's weird how SEOs work. They sometimes use very specific parts of very specific tools. So use whatever works well for you, or what's missing from your strategy is what I would say, rather than just going by what Brad says, about COG, because he uses 10% of COG or 5% or whatever it works out at, and there could be other amazing features there that you can find useful. He just doesn't. He's got another way of doing it. So yeah, check them out for yourself, but hopefully that helps. BK SEO. Hi Craig, will Google ever crack down on garbage backlinks in local markets? Local sites get away with a lot more garbage PBNs. Also, what do you think is the best way to outrank these competitors? Because you see someone with a load of garbage pointing to the website doesn't mean it's actually passing any value to the website. You need to try and take a snippet of the good stuff that they've got. Loads of people have got garbage pointing to their website. I've got someone smashing me with Chinese garbage. Google just ignore it. Google can ignore absolute garbage. In terms of PBNs, if they're done properly, though, then I wouldn't consider them to be garbage. I think it's a very good strategy. You've just got to replicate what the competition's doing, or take the good parts of what the competition is doing and beat them. That's it. This waiting for Google to slam people or whatever. People have been saying PBNs are dead for fucking 10 years, something like that, and we're still waiting on them dying. So I think sitting hoping that Google's going to clamp down on a lot of people, and obviously they do clamp down on certain people, but the people that know what they're doing are going to avoid it, or they're going to find another loophole. So I think you've just got to, for me, when I look at the competition, if you can't beat them, join them. So join in the fun and games. That is what SEO is. Anything to add to that, Brad?
No, I mean, if I'm setting them up, like you said, the PBNs aren't junk. If one, they're pushing, two, they're generating revenue, and that's how Mike and I try and set up our PBNs, is miniature money sites. So we've got all these money sites that are pulling in traffic and generating revenue, pushing up the primary money site. So is that, at that point, is that junk or not junk? It'd be hard to define junk in SEO. But like you said, Google is just devaluing the shitty links at this point. So that could be, legacy links that they did a long time ago. It could be newer links that they're getting smashed with by a competitor that thinks that they're going to just drop them out. But yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to the bad stuff, just the good stuff that they're doing, try and replicate that and kind of trim the fat, so to speak. and from all your competitors, and then you should come out essentially on top. Yeah, and get a map listing. Then you're above all the fucking organic stuff anyway. So
yeah. Michael Likens, how much of a setback do you think it is to start a new domain for an affiliate blog rather than an expired domain? How much?
It depends on how good the expired domain is, to be honest. I like having those links in place that I didn't have to build, and then not worrying about link budget for a little bit. So,
but I'll rephrase this just for other people. If you had an idea and it had to be called bigbadbrad.com and it wasn't available as an expired domain name, and you
I've got them all.
Just would you still run with a new domain name if it made sense to do so? Yeah. I think a lot of people, for me, always ask these questions about expired domain names. I think if you're thinking of building a long-term brand or a long-term asset, and you know, it makes sense to use a new domain name, of course it can still work. You just, as Brad said, you know, it's nicer not to have to build all those kind of initial links and all that kind of stuff. You're giving yourself a head start, but it's not the only way to rank online. Many people rank brand new domains, so do not let that put you off of building a brand or whatever. So it's not the be all. It's probably laziness in our parts where we're looking.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as value too, because if it's a brand that I can work with and I'm getting $100+ worth of links that are going to that for $10, just the domain cost, then I'll get that. You know, I'll grab that. Or you can grab that 301 that to the freaking new branded domain. And easily have that going. So
many options, guys. Many options. Dan Randall, is GSA and Exrumer still working? What do you think?
I used GSA a ton back in the day, and then I couldn't get it to work anymore, but I didn't want to take the time to clean the list. If you're working with a very clean, a solid list, then they can work, but you just can't hammer it, plug and chug like you used to, which is what I enjoyed doing. So that's why I stopped using it.
Plug and chug. I know a lot of guys that still use it though, and it's still effective, but having your own clean list, as Brad says, is the key thing about GSA. Spamming everything that's already on there that every other Tom, Dick and Harry is smashing the life out of is not going to do you any favors, so be careful. And as for Exrumer, I don't personally use that anymore. Don't even know if it's still a thing. I believe it is, though. I think Holly Starks might still use it.
It's got to be out there. Yeah. Any of those tools are still hanging in there. They've got enough users.
But Adam Poland, what is your thoughts about putting your focus keyword in the GMB business title, even if it's not part of the company name?
It's kind of a, you know, it's a scale, because will it push the rankings? Yes. Will it potentially kind of open you up to persecution? Yes. So it's kind of how much do you care about that specific GMB? If you don't give a shit about it, name the business name the same as the keyword and let it rip. Get as many leads as you can before it gets dinged, and then move on. If it's a client, or if it's one that you're building, you know, putting a ton of linking and content and all that stuff into it, then I would be more careful. So it's just, you know, it's always a balancing act with SEO and GMB especially.
Yeah, that's a volatile fucking part of the job, which is why I stay clear of it.
You can spam the dog shit out of those, and they will rank though. But they'll get hit at some point in the near future as well. So,
so Yaniv is in the locksmith niche.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's finding it possible to find niche relevant PBN domains. Any suggestions as what to do?
Start building your own, to be honest. Go through the MiniNet training, but instead of finding an expired domain, buy like a partial match domain and go from there. You know, you can build out. So like you said earlier, you can build out a network with brand new domains that have nothing going to them and start building them up the way you want to. It just takes a little longer. So in something like Locksmith, that's more than likely what I would do, is start doing that. We did that in Payday as well. You know, we built, I don't know how many thousands of freaking sites that were all like EMD, PMDs, just like pumping them out. And they rank like a motherfucker, you know, and that was without having GMBs tied to them. And then we used them for linking to the ultimate client site. And also they were bringing in leads. So.
Yeah. Anyway, back to BKSEO. He's using Pbns, but the competitors are using spammy, irrelevant 3-pagers with overly optimized anchors. They will eventually get a slap for that, potentially. You know, when I say look at the competition and do what they do, don't like, you've got to think about future-proofing your business as well. You don't want to wake up one day and take a slap. So if they're doing that, let them do what they do. You just have to come up with a better way of doing it. And irrelevant 3-pagers with spammy links is not going to last long.
And that might not be what's pushing them too. Is that all they have up? You know,
it's that. Well, that's the thing. If they've got tons of that shit, a lot of it may not be pushing them. Just dig a bit deeper. But also a good question that's kind of related to this. Can I get a non-relevant domain name and add a relevant paragraph into it? And, you know, would that be enough for relevancy?
I would do that if it's a niche edit or if it's a guest post. But if I'm going out and buying them, I want it to, what was his niche? Locksmith, right? Yeah. I would want it to at least be home improvement or something like that, or local. You can always go local. If you can find local sites that are relevant to the city that you're trying to push and build out a directory for that and make your Locksmith site / GMB a site sponsor where it's got a sidebar link and it's going to every page and it looks halfway legit. That works as well. So, and then you've got local relevance and you can add, you know, the Locksmith relevance there, the niche relevance. But I wouldn't go out and grab a, I'm trying to think of something that's completely unrelated to Locksmiths.
Fucking some forest website or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out and get a tree removal site and set it up as a Locksmith site. I probably wouldn't do that. I would get, you know, I mean, even then you probably could, if it's a local tree service site, then you could link it over because you've got the local relevance. But your best bet, like I said, in Locksmith is to build out a network of sites. You can find this actually, funny enough, in the auto insurance niche. Go to essentially any city in the, this will be everyone's homework for next week. I can't remember if I've mentioned them on this show or not, but if I have, it's been long enough to where people won't remember it. Go to essentially any city, like Cheap Car Insurance Greensboro. Find the EMD that's on there, and this is if they're still up there. I haven't checked in a few months. Find the EMD, go to their site, and you'll know you're on the right one when you go to the footer and see them interlinked all their network sites together. Again, they're all set up on different IPs. They did it the right way, but it's fucking amazing what they did. It's essentially, they did the mini-net method in auto insurance, and they're ranking for essentially every larger city in the US. Let me actually, I won't share my screen because I want people to actually go and look for it, but do cheap car insurance Greensboro or something. Let me see if they're up there. Yeah, they've still got an EMD on there, a .info. So everyone go to that and start digging. And that's how you set up a network. That's how I'd set up the Locksmith network, to be honest, just like this.
Interesting. Go and check it out, guys. Final question for today is from Dan Randall. Is it possible to create a GMB locksmith listing without a postcard these days, or is it better not to even try? It
would be difficult with the postcard. It's going to be difficult regardless. So, Yeah, there are ways to get them. I would honestly find a vendor that can hopefully guarantee that you can get a listing and just use them. But you can get them. It's just a complete pain in the dick, you know, to get locksmith. Ask, I know Jordan's really big into that. So find Jordan and ask him how the fuck to get locksmith. Just keep texting him and, you know, badger him until he finally gives in. Not really, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you can get them. But if I were going to do locksmith, I don't even know if I would go maps. I would go the car insurance example. I would do the same thing in locksmith that I just mentioned. Everyone go find that network. Make it work a little after this show.
We'll ask you questions on it next week.
Yeah.
But on that note, guys, we are out of time. Do check out odys.cc and do check out minionettraining.com, nfgseo.com/7 and nfgsecret.com if you want to get a hold of Brad and Mike, who will be back with us next week. But
if he's done driving by then, shit. I mean,
yeah.
18 hours, I would need a week off after that. I told him he needs to become a truck driver. So, and then I won't mention the next comment that he sent me. So it's pretty dirty even for me.
Oh man. Anyway, guys, before the dirty talk starts, we will see you next week. Cheers, everyone.
Later.